So the state of our schools was quite personal to me. There are 5 of us in my family. We all attended the Boston Public Schools. All of my nieces and nephews of school age attend the Boston Public Schools. My wife is a retired Boston Public School teacher, and my sister and my wife are both current Boston Public School teachers. I think for many families, much like mine, the Boston Public Schools is not an option, it's the option. And we have to focus on it and make it work. I think you do early child education, I would guarantee a pre-K seat for every child who wants one. I also believe that you should have 2 adults in those classrooms, particularly in the early years. Up until 3rd grade, a child is learning to read, and from 3rd grade on, they're reading to learn. So if they're not reading at level at 3rd grade, the rest of the educational time in schools is going to be very difficult. I know you can get to 2. My wife does it. She's a 2nd grade teacher. She partners with Simmons College and has a graduate student year-round in her classroom with her. So instead of Jasmine with 24 students, it's 1 to 12. The next piece, I think it's time to extend our school day, but not just for the sake of extending it. It's to guarantee that every child has arts, theater, music, dance, phys ed, and sports. I would also look at our curriculum in our high schools and make sure that we're preparing for the jobs that exist today, not the jobs that existed yesterday. I think every child should be introduced to science, technology, engineering, math, civics, so that they know that they have a responsibility and they can in fact change the course and direction of our city. Financial literacy. When I walk into high schools and I ask, how many of you want to own a home one day? They all raise their hands. When I ask what's a credit score, it's not the same result. We're not even preparing them for what we know is their dream. Also a college prep class where I would ensure that every child goes through a class where you apply for college, apply for financial aid, apply for scholarships. For many of the BPS students, they'll be the only or one of the few in their family to go to college. We can't assume that there's someone at home who's going to know how to go through that process with them. So we should do it. It does 2 things. It allows them to go through that process, but I think it tells every child in our schools, we believe your college material. Yeah, so I support a hybrid school committee. Today we have an entirely appointed school committee, and I think a hybrid gives you the best of both. With the appointed, you could look for specific people, for specific ideas, real experts in the field of education and policy, but through the elected process, you ensure accountability, particularly to parents who use our school system, but the overall community. And so I think when you do the hybrid, you get both. It's someone who believes in urban public education and wants to invest in urban public education, who understands that you need buy-in from the teachers and the students and the parents, and that is focused on parent engagement. And someone who believes that all of our students can in fact learn, and that we need to do the work to eliminate the obstacles that stop someone from learning.